Good morning, Rich. My name is Martin Suter. I'm Vice President of Business Development at BelAir Networks.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about your company, please?
Absolutely. BelAir Networks is the market share leader in service provider Wi-Fi and has really been focused since day one on delivering carrier-grade equipment to Tier 1 service providers, whether they're wireline, so the cable operators and fiber guys, or wireless, companies that are delivering wireless services around the world.
Excellent. Now, many people have read about my experiences with Optimum Wi-Fi on my blog, and I know your company is playing an integral part in allowing a cable operator to provide Wi-Fi in a geographical area. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Absolutely. And it was great that you picked up and reported on that story because I think it's an important technology and market story. Cablevision was confronted with increased competition in its footprint with Verizon Fios having rolled out, and as they've reported to the street, the addition of Wi-Fi services for their Optimum broadband customers has resulted in double-digit reductions in churn. So obviously it's had a financial impact on the company. Today, as Cablevision has reported, they have the largest contiguous Wi-Fi network in the world with about 16,000 access points deployed across Long Island, parts of Connecticut, and New Jersey.
And what are some of the things you can tell us in terms of how often they need to put equipment up on strands and how that works?
Sure. Well, one of the things that BelAir pioneered was really the integration of wireless devices with cable plant. So in the case of Cablevision throughout Long Island, you'll see overhead aerial strand, and the BelAir 100S is simply mounted on the strand and tied into both the backhaul and the power that's available to the cable operator through the strand. Now, of course, in this instance, we're talking Wi-Fi, but it's not uniquely a Wi-Fi play. BelAir announced recently a product called the BelAir 100SX, which combines both licensed and unlicensed technologies, in this case Wi-Fi and WiMAX, again to deliver wireless services by the cable operator. So we're particularly excited about the opportunities in this market.
Now, is there an opportunity to provide other service providers with your equipment as well?
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about cable. One of the challenges that the devices like the iPhone have had or have brought to the wireless operators is the amount of data traffic that they generate. René Obermann, the CEO of Deutsche Telekom, was quoted as having said, the iPhone generates about 40 times the data traffic as does a regular device. And of course, what we've seen is a decoupling of revenues per user with the amount of data traffic being generated. So as cellular networks become congested, there's a need to add capacity and to add low-cost capacity. And finally, we're seeing the wireless guys who historically are, they're spectrum owners and historically have been opposed to unlicensed spectrum, embracing it in a big way. And that's not uniquely an American phenomenon. We're seeing that around the world.
So can you cite some examples of carriers doing things in the Wi-Fi space, showing how they're seriously getting involved?
Absolutely. I think there's probably two good examples, Rich. The one I would, which is obviously very public, was AT&T's acquisition of Wayport a year ago. I think really signaled that they were serious about Wi-Fi. I mean, they spent $275 million on Wayport. When Randall Stephenson, the CEO, was quoted in the Wall Street Journal as saying smartphones choke networks, and that's a pretty significant statement. And then Greg Williams, who is a VP at AT&T, also on record as having said, Wi-Fi is an important part of our data offload strategy. So, and I think that's an important example. The second one I would say would be in the UK, where O2, which is also the iPhone operator in the UK, has signed deals with wireless ISPs, including a company called The Cloud, which is a BelAir customer with a network in central London, to shift data traffic off of the iPhone or off their cellular network onto the Cloud's network in central London. Again, it's a congestion play, it's a data offload play for O2. It's one that we're also part of.
Fantastic. What can we see going forward from your company?
Well, I think we see exciting opportunities to grow in both of those industries. So the wireline operators embracing a quad play as Cablevision has done. We hope others are follow in their footsteps. And we also see the proliferation of smartphones and these devices as creating a need for capacity. So expansion globally is certainly a part of that. And as we look to technologies like 4G, so whether it's LTE or WiMAX, we see a role for BelAir in being able to add wireless data capacity in sort of micro and picocellular architectures.
Thank you so much for your time today.
It's my pleasure, Rich. Thank you.